Hi, I'm Bob Nystrom.
Hi, this is Bo Dietl.
Hey, this is Rich Big Daddy Salgado.
Hi, this is Don Goodney, and you're watching Sports Biz.
Sports Biz.
Sports Biz with LD. Sports fans, this is Sports Biz with LD.
Welcome to Sports Biz with LD. I'm your host, Larry Davis. Brought to you by the Rampart Insurance Group. For all your insurance needs, rampartinsurancegroup.com. 388 Restaurant and Lounge, 388 Willis Avenue, Roslyn, New York, and A1 VIP Entertainment for all your tickets and meet and greet needs. A1 VIP Entertainment. And we got a new sponsor added today, EZ Pawn, PAWN Corp. All your pawning needs. Have about 15 locations throughout the tri-state area. If you're in trouble and you need some money, and even if you're not in trouble, you need some money, EZ Pawn is the place to go. Also, if you want to check us out, you can check out our Facebook page, Sports Biz with LD. You can check out our Twitter, Sports Biz with LD, and our website, Sports Biz with LD. And of course, let's not forget the Daily Blue, without whom you could not see us. On my left, the guy who makes it happen from behind the scenes, gets me all the information. My executive assistant, Andy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Larry. Thank you for having me on again. It's nice to be back.
It is nice to be back. Andy, let's just jump right into it. What have you been doing with yourself lately? I know it looks like you got a new gig going on. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, I'm working at Encompass Digital Media in Stamford, Connecticut. I'm a quality control agent. Basically what I do, I watch all the shows on A&E and their sister networks to make sure that 2 or 3 days before they air, that nothing's wrong with them.
So if I'm watching A&E and I see something wrong, I'm telling you, you're in trouble?
You could call me between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. and say, Andy, you screwed up. But that will never happen.
Oh, so you got the great shift over. You got the graveyard shift.
I do have the graveyard shift.
Oh, so you're low man on the totem pole right now.
Hey, guess what? It's work.
At least you're on the pole.
Yes. I'm on the pole. I'm climbing up. Usually you see firemen going down the pole. I'm going the other direction.
And what else you got going on? Something's going on in Stony Brook. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I actually just picked up a gig doing color commentary for Stony Brook's hockey team. And I'll be starting up the first game is September 27th against Syracuse here at Rinks in Hauppauge.
And now tell us how you got there, because I love how you got it. Tell everybody how you went and got that gig.
I cold called the guy, or let me be more correct, I cold emailed the guy. And we were in contact. He liked my stuff and says, we'd like to have you on.
So, I find it hard to believe that they didn't even have anyone, an incumbent from last year, or that they don't use a student.
Well, they want to be as professional as they can, and maybe they had somebody last year that they either weren't thrilled with, or he decided not to do it. So, opportunity struck. They say the glass is half full. I just drank the glass.
Relax. Let's see your work first, okay?
Yeah.
Like you start on a low man on a totem pole, your job. Let's see how well you do, because I will be listening.
I hope you are. It'll be on YouTube at Stony Brook Hockey Live for all of you to listen in.
That's great. Listen, that's what happens. When Andy's not here, that's what he's doing, making things happen in the sports world. Andy, as you know, off my chest, things that I like, things that I don't like, let's get right into it. The sad thing, the Tony Stewart accident. Tony Stewart is one of the top drivers on the circuit.
He's one of the biggest faces NASCAR has.
Right, and a tremendous amount of fans. We did not want to show the video, but I think that Mike has up the, I guess a still of what happened. Very sad. Young man Kevin Ward Jr. passed away, got hit by Tony's car. Now, in the racing world, no matter what happens, he said that Tony clipped his car. He was feeling was on purpose. The thing they always tell the drivers, Andy, is don't get out of your car. And what did Kevin Ward Jr. do?
He got out of his car. He went to confront Tony Stewart, and he almost got hit by another driver before that. And then Tony looked like the throttle kicked out and started dragging him along. So that's causing a lot of controversy with was it intentional or not.
Well, if it was intentional, then it could be manslaughter. I mean, we're talking serious criminal charges if it was intentional.
As of now, there are no charges pending, and he is cooperating with the investigation. And so he's not racing these next couple races. He didn't race last Sunday at Watkins Glen at the Cheese at 355. He's not racing in Michigan this week. Jeff Burton's going to be taking his place. It's smart for him to not be racing, because then it looks like a spit in the face to the people that he's offended and who he's hurt by this one accident if he continues racing.
Well, within a few hours of this tragic accident, Greg Zipadelli, his statement when they asked him, will Tony be racing next Sunday, which is this Sunday, and he said, Tony will be racing. It's business as usual.
Then
ouch.
Right after that, because there was so much controversy with that, they backtracked and said he won't be racing that race because you don't want to offend the people that he's hurt. And that was a smart decision to not race that race and not race this Sunday too.
Well, you're saying it's a smart decision. It's the only decision. I mean, this guy right here, Greg Zipadelli, I mean, what was he thinking? I mean, really?
He may not have been thinking.
You know something? You're right. He was not thinking. I mean, that is just terrible. And the one problem I have with Tony, yes, I've read that he has, like you said, went to the authorities and has been as helpful as he can, as he should. But I have not seen anything, Andy, of him actually in front of the camera. And I get it. He's going to say, his attorney says, don't ask, can't ask any questions. I got that. But how does he not go out there and say, my heart goes out to Kevin Ward Jr.'s family and the parents, and as of yesterday, it didn't sound like the father said that Tony has reached out to the family.
Man, the funeral was yesterday, and you didn't hear of anything of him being there as a show of support to the family. He has made no statements, and that looks bad on him.
I think it's bad on him. Listen, you're all about your representation, what you do, what you're thinking, how you act, and listen, he is a little bit of a hothead. Again, people like that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But for him not to go out there and even talk to the fans, to everybody, and just say, I feel terrible. I mean, I'm just very surprised that him and his team, and I don't think it would be Greg, would tell him to do something like this. The rest of them wouldn't say something to everyone
that's
out there.
something that's got to weigh on his conscience, knowing that, hey, I hit somebody and I killed him. And it's kind of strange to think, I mean, I don't have kids. My sister is this kid's age that died. And it's like, that kind of weighs in. Like, you hit somebody who's just about to really start his life.
Just terrible. Just terrible. Moving on, let's talk about what I see is like hitting the nation with ALS. All these people, all of a sudden, and you did a little homework, so you'll tell us how this started, because I don't even know how it started, and then we'll talk about the athletes who've jumped on board. How now ALS has started out with now everyone's taking the buckets and dropping, cold water and ice water on them, right? And then X amount of dollars are going to ALS, which I'm sure Mike is showing the photo, one of the most famous, and it's not a good thing to be famous, to be associated with this terrible, terrible disease, ALS, was Lou Gehrig from that famous speech.
Right, and the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge has really picked up steam over the last month or so. Matt Lauer actually did it at a hospital while visiting kids, and he did that as a show of support.
Matt Lauer from the Today Show on NBC.
Yes, that Matt Lauer. And then
the only Matt Lauer. I don't know any other Matt Lauer.
Well, I'm sure there's a wax figure somewhere. If he did the Ice Bucket Challenge, there wouldn't be a wax figure of Matt Lauer anymore. But after that, in the middle of July, a golfer, Chris Kennedy, did it and nominated a friend of his whose husband has had ALS for 11 years. And it spread through their community and through everybody else's network of friends. It's gone viral.
So what famous athletes, because again, you jump on the athletes. I thought I saw like the Jets leaving Cortland. That happened with the New York Football Jets, right? Is that correct? And anyone else famous?
The Jets used the Cortland Fire Department to help them out, so a nice way to get the community involved with that.
Yes.
Rangers goalie Henrik Lundqvist took the challenge yesterday.
The king.
Yeah, and a cool video I actually saw the other day. Paul Bissonnette from the Arizona Coyotes, now not even the Phoenix Coyotes anymore, took a helicopter and had the helicopter dump glacier water on him. it was really, really cool, and I highly recommend everybody check out his video.
So now I guess everyone's jumping on the wagon, which is a good thing. Money's for charity. So I think you told me well over $5 million with this whole thing.
Over the last month, they've gotten $5.5 million for their foundation, because if people don't dump the bucket on their head, they donate $100 to charity. And some people are dumping the water on their head and then donating to charity anyway, which is even better.
And that's why, whatever business it's in, and it's the charity business, and I understand it is for charity. That's why you need social media. You need like a PR company like a Daily Blue. You need these people to help you raise money. Whether or not you spend, it's a regular business spending the money or raising money, someone came up with this great marketing idea, and it's gone viral.
Yeah, and hey, should we nominate some people from the Daily Blue right now?
Would you? Go ahead. Listen, go for it.
All right. Corinne, Mike, Desiree, you got 24 hours to dump a bucket of ice on your heads. Go.
Oh, they're going to love you. I don't think you're coming back to the show. I think that's a problem for you. I will try to get you in the door, but they might dump ice on you as you try to walk in the building.
All right, if that's the case, then so be it. I did it for a good cause.
Listen, we're all doing it for a good cause. That's good stuff. I like that. So move right along. One of the things you and I discussed, we wanted to talk about, and most of the time people would do a midterm report card, an all-star break report card.
We did that already.
Right. Well, it looks like baseball's done for the year here in New York. So I thought, let's go over the Mets a little bit. The Mets right now are at
57
and 65. They're 28 and 30 at home, 29 and 35 on the road. Their home attendance is what? Second to last. Okay.
Yeah, they're averaging less than 27,000 a game. And if you've been to the games, it looks a lot less than that.
And well, I think that's with every stadium, but 27,000. I'm surprised. That's closer to 30. I would have thought they'd been closer to 20. But let's go down the list a little bit and talk about a couple of the players. Let's start at first base.
Well, Lucas Duda, he's hitting 257, which is not great.
I think he's got about 60 some odd ribbies.
He's got 65 RBIs, 21 home runs, which he's really their only source of power at this point. Granderson's not doing it. Wright has 8 home runs.
Well, we'll get to those guys in a second. So Lucas Duda, I would say, is probably going to end up 27, 30 homers. Going to end up maybe 75 ribbies. That's not a bad year for him after they got rid of Ike Davis.
Yeah, I mean, if he can get to 85, 90 RBIs, that'd be a great season that nobody expected from Lucas Duda when he was trade bait in spring training.
Right. Or it was trade bait between him and Ike Davis, and then they got rid of Ike Davis and kept Lucas Duda. And looking at Ike Davis's numbers, they made the right choice, at least there. One good choice for Sandy Alderson, we'll say for now. Let's go to second base. Daniel Murphy. I talked about it last week with my other co-host, Kel E., who was on last week. Loved her. She was great.
It was a great show. You guys really went long.
Yeah, and we went long. Exactly. I don't even know. It made it. I don't know how they didn't cut it, but, Mikey was nice of us to let it go extra time. Daniel Murphy, top 5 hitter in baseball hits-wise, probably not average-wise.
He's hitting 303, which is very respectable.
Very respectable. Does he got 140, 150 hits already?
He has exactly 150.
Wow, not bad, huh? That was a good guess. Got 150 hits, got almost 550 at-bats.
Got 533 in 118 games that he's played.
He's a baller. He's a player. The Mets going to have to keep him, and I think next year, he's a free agent, no?
He'll be a free agent after next season, and they have to make that decision of whether to pay him or not, and they'd be remiss not to pay him.
Right. So let's jump to shortstop. We had Tejada, and now they got Flores, and that's just a mess. Shortstop's a mess for the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, Tejada's hitting 224, and Flores is hitting 234. Not exactly... It's not exactly in his prime Derek Jeter playing there,
I don't even know how you can bring up Derek Jeter. I don't know what that meant. How you can compare that.
I don't think the Mets have had a good hitting shortstop in about 4 years since
but
Reyes
years ago, and it's not today, but years ago, 230, 240 you would take as long as the guy gets to every ball. And Tejada was a very good defensive shortstop, but the Mets need offense, and Flores is not. So
Flores can provide the offensive pod. He's got to get in more at-bats on a consistent basis, and he's got to show that he can put the ball in play, which he has really yet to do so.
Let's get to third base. David Wright, you're a $20 million a year player whose power outage, he's got a shortage. He's got less than 10 homers, right?
He has 8 home runs, 56 RBIs. He is hitting 275. But when you're paying a guy as much money as the Mets are paying David Wright, you expect a little bit more.
Well, I look at him as a Scottie Pippen, not a Michael Jordan. No one's Michael Jordan. I don't mean it that way, but I look at him as a number 2 guy. And, that's why, we jump out to the outfield with Curtis Granderson, and they thought by getting Curtis Granderson in there, he would help Wright, and he had a horrendous April, which he still can't get out of. And what are his numbers? His numbers aren't that good either.
He's hitting 224. He's got 15 home runs, 46 RBIs, which in Citi Field, 15 home runs isn't horrible, but he's
I
Curtis.
don't want to hear that.
He's
I'm
Curtis
not into that
Granderson.
whole
He had 40 home runs 2 of the last 3 seasons,
Right.
and they
the
paid him
big-
to hit home runs.
Big thing. What's his case? How many strikeouts and how many at bats?
He's got 110 strikeouts and 497 plate
Oh.
appearances.
That's 25% of the time.
You know, if the Mets struck out with the ladies as much time as they do on the field, they'd have a really big problem.
Well, I think the thing with Granderson, you knew he was going to strike out a lot. That's okay, but you would have had more production, and you don't have it from him.
The Mets,
that hurts.
as a team, have 987 strikeouts for the season. That's the 4th most in the National League.
Wow. Who's number one? Do you know?
I didn't look.
My
but,
guess it has to be someone worse than them. Probably Padres.
It's got to be
maybe.
someone. It's got to be someone who has at least one power hit on their team who strikes out.
Well, more than one, yeah.
So you look at maybe the Brewers and Mark Reynolds and Ryan
Right.
Braun.
Right. Reynolds strikes out a lot. Then you got Juan Lagares in center. I like Juan. I'm
do
okay
too.
with him.
Terry Collins has something against it because he keeps taking
Yeah,
him
I don't
out.
understand. Write him up. Put him in there, Terry. What's the problem? We'll get to Terry in a second.
And Lagares plays Gold Glove outfield. He can hit. I mean, he's hitting 277, and he provides a little bit of a spark for an anemic Mets offense that's hitting 238 as a team. Why wouldn't you keep him in?
You're right. Who else we got in the app? We got Eric Young.
He has 27 steals in limited time. He's only played in 77 games. Let the guy run. Give him some more chances.
Well, you got to get him in, and then they got rid of Bobby Abreu.
But they're looking at possibly bringing him back. And
They did. They brought him back. He's a AAA right now.
and the Mets would be a prime candidate for a reason why the National League needs to adopt the DH. But then you look at the roster, there's no one that should be the DH.
So get to the pitching real quick, and then we'll move on to the Bronx Bombers. Well, I don't know why I said Bronx
who?
Bombers, but yeah, exactly. So now you got to pitching. Matt Harvey. Matt don't want to shut up. I mean, he does an interview during the Met game. Yes, it was in Port St. Lucie. I mean, because at first the way they made it seem was like he was on the bench and he went to do it. And they want to slow Matt down. But, you know, a lot of these big level superstars, like Matt looks like he could have been in that first year.
Yeah.
You know, they're very egotistical, not a bad thing. And listen, don't tell me what to do kind of thing. And it seems like Matt Harvey, they have no control over.
He's very adamant in saying, I want to pitch in 2014. If the Mets were 65 and 57, I'd say okay. Because then you're in the thick of a pennant race, but you're not. You're 8 games under 500. There's no need for Matt Harvey to come back this year. Because God forbid he gets hurt again and has to miss 2015, the Mets will be incredibly angered at him.
Well, you had Jeremy Hefner right there on the team, you know, so especially another reason to, I don't say they got to slow him extra down. Same pace. There's nothing wrong with the way it was going. Matt, you're not pitching this year. Get it through your head. Do you love that he wants to as a competitor? Yes, but he's not. You know,
the competitive spirit, it's great.
right.
But you're on a team that's not going anywhere this year, and there's no need for you to risk re-injuring yourself and putting your team at a loss for another year, and for him to lose another year on his contract.
Oh, that would hurt. That would hurt. So you move on with, Dylan G was hurt. He's doing okay. Nothing great. You know, it seems like he's...
DeGrom is hurt now.
DeGrom, and the thing about DeGrom is, listen, I like him a lot, but I understand everyone's like, oh, he's a potential NL Rookie of the Year. Forget about the guy hurt. The guy's 6-5. Yes, he's been pitching great.
He's got a 2.87 ERA, which is
Rookie of the
solid.
Year. There's no other rookies in the National League.
I mean, you have Oscar Taveras with the Cardinals, who's not really doing much. And there haven't been really many rookies in the National League that really jump out
Well, even
at
think
you.
about it. If he ends up with 5 more starts, right? How many games are left? And if he won them all, he went 11-6. You gonna win a Rookie of the Year? Maybe. I guess. But at 6-5, talking Rookie of the Year, I don't see it.
Felix Hernandez won a Cy Young at 13-12.
That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
But wins and losses don't mean everything anymore.
Well, now anymore, right? So who else on the Mets staff? And the bullpen's been pretty good.
Yeah, Mejia and Familia have been a good 8-9 combo. You have Torres, who's been pitching a little better. He's at 3.6 ERA right now.
You got Bartolo Colon. I'm sorry, when you're starting.
The ageless wonder. Hey, he's a better hitter than Dylan G at this point.
Right.
Dylan G has a 0 batting average for the season.
Right.
At least Colon's hitting 0.42.
All right. Good point. All right. So let's move on to the New York Yankees.
Yeah, they got a whole
What a
list.
disappointing.
They got a whole
God.
heap of problems going
32-29 on the road, 29-29 at home. Like everybody says, there's no home field advantage. They're saying 42,000 people going to the game. Maybe they've had those tickets sold. Like maybe they do have that much in season tickets because it's not happening for the next couple of years. This team is toast.
No.
But there's no home field advantage. I mean, you're going to see Jeter or you're not. But
And when you look at
29-29?
when you look at the stadium, it's quiet. There's no fans getting
it's all
all
rich
riled
people.
up.
It's all rich people going because today's sports It's not about the game. It's an entertainment center. It's about the stadium, the
it's about how many
entertainment
corporate sponsors
place,
you can have.
and then it's the game.
And then the fans, if you're lucky.
And then the fans, if you're lucky. So let's go with that. Mark Teixeira, let me tell you something. With the wrist, didn't think he'd play. Yes, he's been injured a lot this year, but let me tell you, his home runs and ribbies, his average is terrible. So for the last couple of years, the Yankees aren't getting their money's worth because he's a $20 million guy. But home runs and ribbies are pretty good for a guy with a bad wrist.
Yeah.
Not many, missed like 10 games already this year. He's doing okay, but not for his salary.
He's on the cusp of 20 home runs, which, for most people, you'd be ecstatic about. But if you're a guy like Teixeira, who he's been known to hit 30-plus home runs a year, you gotta know that there may still be something more with the wrist that maybe he's just not letting on.
And who's at second base? Where is this guy?
Not that guy.
This guy.
This
right
guy.
here. Where is this guy? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Robinson Cano, don't you know? Guy's only batting .330. Yes, his home runs are down a little bit. A homegrown talent. Yankees didn't want to pay. Okay, and what the Yankees go after?
they went after Jacoby Ellsbury instead.
Right, well, let's stay at second base, and we'll get to Jacoby in a second. Another very disappointing guy.
Oh, they went for the stopgap solution in Bryant Roberts. And at first, wasn't awful, but then it kind of
I
went...
think what you said. He's a Yankee. It's not
It
wasn't
went-
awful. Like if you
it
told
went down
me,
like this.
You told me you went to a restaurant. Hey, how's the restaurant? It wasn't awful. I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere near it.
I don't blame him.
So now
That's
he's
236.
jettisoned out. They bring in Steven Drew from shortstop to second base from the Red Sox.
And Stephen Drew was hitting below the Mendoza line with the Red Sox. He's not doing any better here. He's hitting
Right. So
167.
they got no one at second. Then we go to short. Beloved Derek Jeter, batting .270. He gets the whole pass this year. I mean, I had said when we first started the show in spring training, I thought Derek would hit 290, 300, 170, 180 hits.
And I had said about 270, 275, 160 hits. And he's
We're going to have to
about
go to
on.
the tape because it sounds like you're going to be right on. We're going to have to go back to that
I
tape.
had said to you even
Next show, I'm going to bring the tapes, okay?
All
That's
right,
it.
you can hold me to it.
I'm going to. So Jeter, we're fine with him at shortstop. It's the year of Jeter. There's just so much great to say.
He could have hit. Actually, if he hit 160, that would have been pretty bad.
Well, that'd be terrible for him and everybody. You go to third base.
Chase Headley's hitting 250.
Yeah. So he came here, a couple of games. Oh, this is the greatest thing in the world. Boom. He's another one. Let's go to the outfield. I mean, it's amazing how the Yankees got nobody, and they spent $500 million in the offseason. There's still nothing.
Yeah, I
Now
mean,
go to the outfield. You got Ichiro. You gave a 2-year, $12 million deal for what? You could have given 1 year. They just throw the money out.
Yeah, and he was hitting 340 at one point, and then his bat just kind of
Sizzling.
went
It
away.
was sizzling and went away. So you got him. Who else is playing out there?
You have Gardner and Ellsbury, who are hitting 278, 277.
Right, so you got Ellsbury's hitting 278, doesn't have the homer. Everyone was saying to me when I was like, this is too much money. Oh, he's a home run hitter. He had 1 year, he had 30 homers.
And that was on a short porch in Fenway Park.
How many homers does he have?
Jacoby Ellsbury this year has 10 home runs, 52 RBIs. Brett Gardner has more home runs. He's got 15.
Right. So Ellsbury, another one, okay, another non-great player. So far we got no great players on this team with the highest payroll in baseball, $220 million. Then we go to the other corner outfield position, Gardner. He's good. Got paid what he should, $8 million a year. He's fine.
And he's got 15 home runs, 18 steals, and only 4 caught. So that's a pretty good
fine.
ratio. He's
then
doing
you go to
well.
Beltran, who was injured, but you just can see Carlos Beltran can still hit. He's just injured.
Yeah, he's hitting 240. He's actually been picking it up of late.
He can hit. I don't even care what his numbers are. He was injured. Both sides of the plate. I like Carlos Beltran.
Now he's got 2 more years left on his contract. Now he's got to prove it and stay healthy.
The other bust, the man behind the plate, McCann. Okay, he's a bust. Don't tell me, he handles the pitches well. Every catcher handles the pitches well. Give me a break. What's his stats?
That 238 batting average, that's not looking good at the plate. He's hitting 13 home runs, 49 RBIs. That's actually pretty close to what his yearly average would be at this point, with 18 home runs and 75 RBIs. So you know what? Maybe you overpaid him at what you did.
You overpaid everyone on this team. There's no one who deserves their money. Then you go to Tanaka. He was deserving his money till he's hurt. Okay, he's in trouble. He's going to be gone. He's not coming back from that, in my opinion. The only 2 guys that you could sit here and be confident and feel good about is Robertson. He's going to get his. He's only missed 2 or 3 saves this season.
And the only difference is he's got to get in on a safe situation. The Yankees don't have too many of those anymore.
Well, the other thing is, the only other thing the Yankees would have wanted to seen from Robinson is how would he handle the closer role in the playoffs. But they're not making the playoffs.
No, I don't
so
think-
that's
I don't
one
think they
thing
gotta
they
worry
don't
about
get a
it.
chance to see. And Betances is a stud.
Yeah, Betances is killing it. A 1.52 ERA. He comes in basically every
He throws
night.
peas.
He hit 101 on the gun consistently. That's great.
That's great. The only thing with him, he already had, didn't he have Tommy John surgery or something like that? He had a bad elbow. He had something bad.
He had some control issues, and that's why he's
But
no
he
longer
did have an
starter.
injury.
Yeah, it was him and Banuelos both had problems.
Right. So you look at it, can he do it again next year? Plenty of guys are one-year wonders. But right now, the two guys who are playing the best for the Yankees are the pitchers. Their hitting is terrible.
And when I look at Betances, I look at him and I see Java Chamberlain. That they just do not need to mess him up like they did Chamberlain.
All right, let's move on from that. We'll stay with baseball. One more thing. The Major League Baseball has just gotten a new commissioner. Okay? Rob Manfred is now the new commissioner.
He's going to take over for Bud Selig, who had been the commissioner for 16 years. He had really been in control of baseball since Vay Vincent was forced out in the early 90s. And, Selig's 80 years old. He couldn't do it forever.
Now, Rob Manfred I met, and he told me he will come on the show. I met him at the bat dinner in January. Asked him a couple of times. He did say, I got to go through his PR people. So that would be a big coup for me if I can get him on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But listen, he's Selig's guy. You know what I mean? He did a very good job, Selig, I believe. Selig wanted him. A couple of the owners didn't. But Rob Manfred is going to be the new commissioner. He's a young guy. He's only 55.
Yeah.
He's going to be around. He can do a 15, 20-year run.
Him and Silver in the NBA. Silver's 51. Manfred's 55. Goodell is maybe 60. So you're starting to see a younger crop of people taking over the leagues. And with Manfred, the last vote before they got the 75% majority they needed, the 7 teams that didn't vote for him were the White Sox, the Red Sox, the Angels, the A's, the Blue Jays, the Diamondbacks, and the Reds.
I didn't even know that.
I read it.
And what was their correlate? Why were those teams against him?
Well, Tom Warner was with the Red Sox, and
He did a terrible job when he was known to the Padres. It was terrible, that guy. You know where he got a claim to fame? He's executive producer of the Roseanne Barr Show.
Yeah, and that's why he had that one horrifying national anthem that Roseanne
did
did.
the national anthem.
Oh, that still gives me nightmares when I hear that.
Or see it. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's our new commissioner. We're going to hope to get him on the show. It's amazing. It's over already, Andy. You come to the show, and we fly. I mean, the time flies right through.
Hey.
Can't believe it.
Hey, we had fun.
Yeah, we always have fun. I want to thank our sponsors, the Rampart Insurance Group, for all your insurance needs, rampartinsurance.com. I want to thank 388 Restaurant and Lounge, 388 Willis Avenue in Roslyn, New York. I want to thank A1 VIP Entertainment, also, for all your ticket needs, all your meet and greet needs. And also I want to thank our new sponsor, Easy Pawn. They have about 15 locations, I think 16. I think David Kaminsky, the owner, just bought another one. 15, 16 locations around the tri-state area for all your pawn needs. Cash right on the spot. Also, Andy, I want to tell you for being a co-host of the show today. And even though, they're going to say, well, people who are part of the show shouldn't get stuff. Gift certificate, again, to our friends, 388 Restaurant Lounge, Willis Avenue. 388 Willis Avenue in Roslyn.
Well, thank you, Larry. I appreciate that.
You deserve it. SportsBizWithLD.com. Tweet us at SportsBizWithLD and Facebook.
Yep, Facebook, SportsBizWithLD. Twitter at SportsBizLD, and SportsBizLD.com.
I'm your host, Larry Davis, Sports Biz with LD.
Sports Biz is sponsored by the Rampart Insurance Group for all your insurance needs. Special thanks to MintPros.com. Brought to you by the Daily Blue Network. Sports fans, this is Sports Biz with LD.